So I think it's important, just getting into this stuff, is just understanding file types. And like, because I can teach you where to click on softwares, but if we don't understand like the why and like what is this file type and how do these interact, it's harder to keep pushing faster. I think it's important to know the why behind it. So the two important the file types that you need to know, STL and a DICOM. Those are really the two like only ones you have to understand in order to do this stuff. So your STL, it's just black and white. There's no color. It's printable. It's just a common standard 3D object. And so that's what that's what the labs are using. That's what the iTero can produce. It's just easy to work with, and you can edit it in Mesh Mix or whatever you want to do with it. So STL, that's from your iTero. DICOM, that's from your cone beam. So you guys are all getting cone beams or have cone beams already. .dcm, that stands for DICOM. It can be, a cone beam can produce it as a single file, like one file that's all packaged together and just, you can move it around. It's one file and that's all the cone beam in one. Or sometimes the cone beam will export it as like 1,000 individual files in a folder. Blue Sky can work with either of those, but I think it's easier to export as a single file because there's no reason to have all these files in a folder. So when you guys get your cone beams, I don't know which ones you guys are getting. It might be a little different than what we have, but when you learn how to export DICOMs, just make sure you export it as a single file for the patients. PLY, OBJ, those are other STL-like 3D files, but they have color. So if you see in the iTero, it has the ability to export as .ply. That's just a 3D object that has color on it. And so when you look on your iTero screen and you see color, that's a PLY file. .stl is just a little bit more universal. Most of the stuff we're doing, you don't need color. So I'm usually exporting as STL. But you can do PLY if you want color on your 3D models. And then OBJ, same thing. It's color, it's 3D. That's usually what the face scans come in, is an OBJ file. Those are just other file types. Again, STL, DICOM. Those are the two you want to remember. And then the last 5 down in here are specific software files. So like when you save a Word document, it's .doc, right? .doc, and then some Excel file. What is whatever? Yeah, XLS. Yeah. So those are specific to that software. And so this is where sometimes people get confused. Is they're like, let's say they got let's say your D3 tool, right, for splints. And you're like, I saved the .blend file and it won't drop into Rayware. Well, you don't want to drop the Blender file, the D3 tool file, and that's the specific file to open it back up in Blender. You want to export it as an STL. That's your universal file. So those are the file types that are specific to those softwares that you're not actually dropping in and printing and working with. But if you want to save the file for future editing, then you'd open that back up.